Let's play this video, and I'll chime in. I'll be right back. I'm gonna chime in the video. Come on.
A retired Navy SEAL, host of Everyday Warrior podcast, and co-founder of Legacy Expeditions. Mike, good morning to you. Thanks very much for coming in. So, as we just saw, Israel is getting ready to do something. But at the same time, we heard from the White House on Sunday that the United States, will not support anything that Israel does to counterattack them. So it sounds like, are they on their own?
I'll tell you what. Netanyahu probably gets off the phone with Biden and says one word: feckless. They probably lost 100% confidence in the U.S. right now, knowing that potentially there's a reset with Trump. Israel has always been prepared to go alone, and there's really two sort of
Israel going alone. Oh my fucking God! After that analysis I just read to you guys, this guy said, "Oh fucking Israel go to war with Iran alone." Maybe this guy is a secret Palestine supporter. Maybe this guy secretly wants to see Israel destroyed. I'm actually going to interrupt less in this video because I didn't speed this shit up. But you guys see how fucking absurd that is? And this guy right here, I seen him not once but twice in segments. In this segment, he's about as unhinged as it gets. He's a retired Navy SEAL. Once again, these career veterans, fuck every single one of them because they all crazy. Career veterans, they're all crazy. Let's continue.
Word feckless. They probably lost 100% confidence in the U.S. right now, knowing that potentially there's a reset with Trump. Israel has always been prepared to go alone, and there's really two sort of scenarios here. There's the direct attacks, which would most likely be against the Natanz or Isfahan nuclear facilities, but Natanz is so far down in the ground, no bunker buster can reach it.
They need our stuff.
They would require ground troops after that. Most likely is the indirect approach, fifth generation warfare through subterfuge, which is cyber to shut down their comms grid, their energy grid, to make the dissidents rise up. Israel knows this. The Ayatollah in this religious theocracy is on its last breath. And Iran only exists because of the two wild cards in this, and that is Russia and China.
I also saw the military.
Bro, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to interrupt this video, man. I really wasn't. Why not even fucking start with that? For one, I just told you guys that our Congress has 13% approval rating. Benjamin Netanyahu has a 4% approval rating. But you think you're going to defeat Iran because the Iranian government is quote-unquote unpopular? The Iranian government is way more popular with their people than with the West and their government. And now what I find very hilarious, because you guys are going to see in this same very video, these people contradict themselves in real time. Where they then later complain, you're going to see in this video, they later complain about Americans chanting death to America and rooting for Iran. So here he says that Iran is vulnerable because people in Iran don't like their government. And then later, literally in a few minutes, he's going to complain about how Americans are chanting death to America. And they say this minutes from each other, not realizing how fucking dumb it makes you look. Anyway, let's continue. I already got wrapped up for a second time. It's looking late here.
And only exists because of the two wild cards in this, and that is Russia and China.
I also saw the militants took over to a military facility like last week. They're rising up within Iran, which is so insane that we're protesting for Iran in America, and yet in Iran they hate their government. But
literally within seconds from each other. You guys are not really realizing this contradiction you just made, sir. They say that Iran is weak because Iranians hate their government. Once again, citation needed for the majority of them. And then right after saying that, he then bitches and complains about the Americans who don't like their own government. These same people will call Iran an authoritarian state for talking about their distance like this, but they do it all the time. What regime is weak, sir? Is it the institution that has a 13% approval rating where their own people are chanting death to America, which is your fault, by the way? You guys are going to see more meltdowns here. So I'll let it play, goddammit. I'll let it play.
I understand the IRGC has made it clear. If you attack us back, we're going to attack you again from your soil, from our soil. So it shows you the game has changed.
Well, I'll tell you what, the protests, one, I assure you they weren't paying taxes yesterday. My best advice to them is get a job and be a net positive on society. I think it's a sad commentary on society.
You guys see the disdain that Fox News and the ruling class has for people who protest their government, while at the same time, they commend protesters in Russia. Why aren't they telling the protesters in Russia to get a job? The problem, sir, is they have a job and they pay taxes. I pay taxes. This is the bootlicking mentality that is passed on to Americans, that we shouldn't protest our government. The fact that we have a job and we pay taxes to this government that uses our taxes to wage war instead of fixing our cities is why we protest them, you bootlicking coward. But I know everyone in the chat, I know we all mad at this guy, but once again, I can't emphasize enough, and this is what pisses people off. This is the dominant mentality in white America. They hate Black Lives Matter protesters. They hated the George Floyd protesters. They got mad because they protested too mean. They're protesting too mean. Tucker Carlson, I hate the ruling class. I think we need a revolution. But those people protested too mean. That's the entirety of white America. The George Floyd protest, they protested too mean. Let's ignore the agent provocateurs. Ignore the agent provocateurs and the police that started the violence. Let's ignore all that. Let's ignore the white right-wingers who infiltrated those protesters and made it violent on purpose. But let's ignore all that and let's demonize the people for protesting the government. That's what they do all the time in our country. That is the dominant white American culture. And people give us shit on RBN because we won't condemn the George Floyd protest. There's so many white Americans that are like, RB, you think the George Floyd protest was based? Yes, I do, because I was there. I was there and the cops attacked us. So the cops attacked us, and then white people get mad because there was unrest at the protest after we was attacked by the cops. So yes, this guy is the figurehead that we are mocking right now, but I will never let you guys forget that this is the culture in our society. Why do you guys think he made it? Why do you guys think he's on Fox News? When I do these segments, because there are a lot of people who do these segments shit on Fox News, we're like, oh my God, look how bad Fox News is. That's not my angle. My angle is this is how people was brainwashed. This is the sickness in our culture. It's not just a Fox News thing. That's like how Kyle Kalinske would cover it. That's how TYT would cover it. Oh my God, look how evil Fox News is. No, how did he get here? What society is backing him up? This is what, and this is why we hurt people's feelings, because you guys don't want to say it, man. Like, white Americans had this Western chauvinism, but they really do believe they got the best society ever. And if we're gonna have a real revolution, if we have to change, if we actually want to change shit, I'm sorry, I gotta smack that shit out of you guys. This shit where you got, oh my God, well at least we're not North Korea. This shit that people do, oh well at least we're not China. Oh man, I know things suck here, but at least we're not Russia. You guys see how that's counter-revolutionary? This Western chauvinism that many white Americans have is counter-revolutionary. So I have to tear it down for you guys to get on board with revolution, because the reason why you guys are not in the street, because somehow you think you got it better than other people when you don't. Actually, I don't need to play this full segment because I think that's a good roast on this guy. I'll play just a little bit more. Maybe I'll get triggered one more time before I finish this segment up. I don't need to play this whole video.
DC has made it clear. If you attack us back, we're going to attack you again from your soil, from our soil. So it shows you the game has changed.
Well, I'll tell you what, the protests, one, I assure you they weren't paying taxes yesterday. My best advice to them is get a job and be a net positive on society. I think it's a sad commentary on society that we're struggling with moral confusion and social deviancy fueled by low expectations. And the fact that there is...
So protesting your government and not being for the wars of your government. Sorry, guys, there's no way I can watch the video without stopping. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Being against your government and being against war is social deviancy for him. Degeneracy. How does this serve us? This bootlicking mentality. These people are authoritarians that if they had the ability, they would 100% shut down all protests. Now remember the statement they just said. They were just mocking Iran for falsely or unfalsely. And the reason I say that because I'm not gonna pretend that everyone in Iran like their government. But I promise you, it's not as bad as how much we hate our government, right? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that everyone in Russia like their government. 20% don't approve of Putin. Putin got 80% approval rating, but that's still 20% that don't. But it's worse than in our country. White Americans will mock them. Remember how they laughed at the Hong Kong protest? They laugh when there's unrest in other countries. They laugh. Like, imagine if there was Russians saying death to Russia. Imagine if there were Chinese people saying death to China. They would love that shit. They would love that shit. Meanwhile, people are saying death to America because your government failed us. It's your fault. The government fucked up. The government turned themselves illegitimate. And because the government turned themselves illegitimate, that leads to people saying death to America. That leads to people rooting for their enemies because they were pissed because our government left us behind. Because our government committed violent crimes against our communities. These people believe that our government and governments in general are allowed to do whatever they want without consequence. Hey, you thumb-looking motherfucker. The people saying death to America and people not liking our country, people not being patriotic in your terms, is the result of the failure of the ruling class. Do you understand? You guys see how they never look at it that way? These white people, they never look at it and say, oh my God, these people chanting death to America. Man, we must have really failed those people. Man, the government must have really failed those people. The government must have gave those people. Why are they saying death to America? Why could they possibly say that? They never think that. The mainstream bootlicking mentality in our culture is to demonize the people who actually criticize and call out the government. So I think that's my last rant. I think it is. I think this guy's gone. I'll play his last little rant. Because almost 2 hours in, two times longer than I planned.
And social deviancy.
I won't go all the way back. Let's hear it. This is gonna be the last thing I play, so I may play it for as long as I actually can fucking tolerate this. So this will be the last part of the clip I play, and after I cut it off here, I'm done.
Yes. One, I assure you they weren't paying taxes yesterday. My best advice to them is get a job and be a net positive on society. I think it's a sad commentary on society that we're struggling with moral confusion and social deviancy fueled by low expectations and the fact that there is this intellectual arrogance amongst a lot of American people that, they see the world through rose-colored glasses. We've been so safe for so long, it's become entitlement. But the biggest flawed notion is that foreign wars stay foreign. Yeah. This is the closest we've been to World War III since the Cuban Missile Crisis. And there is intel, and this goes to the open border, that IRGC, PLA, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, IRGC all have cells here. This is disintegration warfare being led by China and its allies.
Chris Wray has warned about that. He said in his entire career, the FBI.
Holy shit, man. Holy shit. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puff shit right there. I'm out of time, man. So I know you guys are smart enough to realize why what the fuck this guy said was crazy. So I'm going to just leave it there.